Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Afia Kufuor. If you are new here, please subscribe so you can stay in the loop with all the videos I make. I make videos on the things they did not tell you about giving birth, pregnancy and motherhood. I also make skincare videos and I sprinkle a couple of vlogs in here and there. Today's video is part 2 of the things they did not tell you about having a C-section, but this time I am giving you the things I didn't tell you about the 10 days after your C-section. So let us begin. So initially your catheter is still in. If you don't know about catheters and want to know what that is or why that was even in, then make sure you watch the first part of this series and that will be put here. So yeah, your catheter is in, so moving isn't actually a thing initially because you're still going toilet through the catheter. You don't even know that you're peeing, it just happens. So at this point your everything is wearing off in terms of the medicine, and you don't even know that, you're not even sure of the effect that the C-section has had on you initially, because you're actually not, you don't really need to move. You just get wheeled from the operating theatre to a side room at them, like while you're waiting, and then you get put on the ward to just wait, and then they've got to do all the baby checks and stuff like that. But in terms of you and your body, it wasn't until the catheter was removed that I knew the amount of pain that I was in, and also just how awkward walking was. So the catheter gets removed, and I mean, you can basically stand up for the first time, and actually bear in mind you're also firstly standing up for the first time in quite a long time, not being pregnant anymore. So there's that weirdness, and then there's also the pain of where the wound has where the wound is. So that initial getting up was really strange, if I'm honest. Another thing, when you first give birth, you're encouraged, if you want to obviously, you're encouraged to breastfeed, and I had no clue how difficult breastfeeding was going to be in general, but then also the added difficulty because of having a C-section. It's really difficult to get comfortable, and actually if you are in that position, I would highly recommend being taught and shown different methods of breastfeeding. For me, I found that because not only did I have back pain because of labour, but I found that the C-section was just, it kind of, every position hurt, but a position that made it just a little bit more manageable was actually the lying down position. There's loads of different positions, there's like rugby ball, all sorts, but I'd highly recommend speaking to your midwife about different positions, because again, I didn't know that there was different positions. I thought that everyone just like held their baby like that, but no, that's not the case. And obviously, yeah, they can show you different ways because there's an added pain to breastfeeding, or added awkwardness, I'd say, because of the pain of your C-section. Next, another thing that I didn't know was that you'd be bombarded with drugs. I've literally got the bag here that had like all the different drugs that I had to take, and they were like once, twice a day, one 3 times a day, another one 3 times a day, and that was for 5 days. This one was for how many days? This one does not say, and I can't remember, but it was a lot. This is all different pain reliefs, to stop you getting infections, antibiotics, all of that stuff. And when you've just had a baby and you've got to be feeding every 2 hours, changing nappies, all of this stuff, to also have to be taking one drug every 3 times a day, another drug twice a day, another drug, however, like, it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's hard. Honestly, if it wasn't for my boyfriend keeping tabs on what I had to do, I don't think I would have managed to be able to take them to also do everything else. So yeah, that was really hard to get my head around, all the drugs and the timings. I did not know that that would be what I had to go through, but it was. And then even worse, I had these injections. I literally had needles that I had to like push into me, like an injection. Well, they said it's meant to be like I'm meant to do it, but I couldn't do it. I don't know about you, but I couldn't like self-administer this injection into me. So I had my mum do it. And yeah, every day for 10 days there's these injections that you have to take to prevent blood clots. Again, something that I didn't know, and that was not a nice experience, because not only is it painful, but it just lasts forever, and you're meant to do it, so like you can do it in your bum or you can do it in like the side of your thigh. That was a lot. So yeah, you all of a sudden are injecting yourself at home. Strange, but something I didn't know. Another thing was, again, you have to stop wear TED stockings as well. This is, again, I think it's to prevent blood clots. I actually can't remember. But TED stockings are a thing. If you don't know what they are, I'm going to put a picture of it here. And they basically help the blood flow in your legs, I believe. And also prevent swelling, to basically keep the area compressed. And that, again, I'm sure was for 10 days that you just had to keep wearing and washing TED stockings, which isn't cute. It's not cute. They're just these massive, like my ones are not bright green, but like green. And yeah, it's not the cutest thing after you've given birth, but we move. Another thing, the 10 days after, walking is difficult. Standing completely upright is difficult. That whole thing is very difficult. And in terms of the wound, you get this you get like a bandage, like a sticky bandage put over it, and obviously that's to protect where they've stitched. And when you're at the hospital, like as soon as you've given birth, I think the following day they change it. That's what happened to me anyway. They change the dressing, which is not pretty. I mean, giving birth and pregnancy in general, you just suddenly, I mean, all these strangers and people that you don't know are all up in your areas, and it's a lot. So yeah, but I guess at this point you're used to it. But taking that thing off was painful, because I mean, even if you have like if you've cut your knee and you've got to remove the plaster, that's not nice, let alone a whole wound in like such a sensitive part of your stomach as well. Like there is weird. So yeah, they removed that. I think they also, because obviously like I remember with me, I had a shower, which is again really difficult. Like all these little things that you just take for granted. Showering was hard. Had a shower and I think water got stuck in it, so they had to like remove it. That was nasty, and put it back. Which leads me on to the next point, hospital appointments. I again didn't know that obviously you go, well, it's not even obvious because I didn't know. You go to hospital appointments with the baby, and then if you had a C-section, your like community midwife also has to check your wound after a couple of days. I think it was about 8 days, or it could have been day 10. But within that time, they also check it, and you so when you have a C-section, you're also left with like this little pouch, this mum pouch. You may have heard of people talking about it, and your belly has like a little flap now, so you can kind of lift it up. And let's just say after your C-section, you're now lifting your belly up to show community midwives how the wound is healing. And yeah, that is another thing. After your shower, you literally have to lie down and hold up your belly ever so slightly to let the area dry. Gosh, C-sections are not a joke. There's just so many strange things that now happen, but you just go with the flow, and that is exactly what you gotta do. So yeah, that is the first 10 days of a C-section. Loads of medication, blood clot injections, stockings, belly flaps, wounds and dressing, quite a lot of pain, quite a lot of discomfort, but it was all worth it in the end. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you've had a C-section, and yeah, if you've got one planned, if you've got any other questions, let me know. But yeah, C-sections, it's a difficult process, because I feel like giving birth and the after part, postpartum, is already so difficult, and a C-section just makes it that little bit harder. But I'm so grateful that I had lots of support, because even holding your baby, and like that can even be painful. Just because you had a C-section doesn't take away anything about your labour, anything about your birth story. That is just, you know, these things are common. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this helped you, and I will see you guys next Sunday.